Hello everybody, my name's Liz and I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. If you've watched my previous videos you will know that the backdrop behind me looks slightly different. I film my videos in my bedroom and I am sort of playing around with where the light is best, and quite often I've found in my other videos the light coming in from the window reflects onto my glasses and it can be quite annoying to watch, I guess. So I'm trying somewhere different, so I've got a different setup. In these drawers is all my fabric scraps or sort of half meters of fabrics that are really good for like baby clothes or reusable face, like makeup remover type things, pocket facings for dresses and things. So that's what's in here. Quite often my girls will dip in and out of here and grab bits so that they can make scrunchies or hairbands or things for their teddies. So it's quite good for them to have access to that. And then I've got my some of my patterns behind me, and then a couple of sewing books up at the top. And then my latest make is just hanging here, which I've just shared over on Instagram. It's a mashup of a few patterns. In one of my previous videos I talked about a white dress that my daughter's got that I wanted to copy, so I've managed to put a few patterns together and come up with a dress that sort of matches her dress, and I am going to do a separate video explaining what I did for that one. Now today's video is going to be a pattern review. It's been a long time coming. I made this up a good couple of months ago, but I just haven't had the time to film a pattern review, so that's what today's going to be about. Before I do that, I'll tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing a Tilly and the Buttons indigo dress with the add-on pack in this lovely drapey viscose from Material Galore. It's got pockets. I did the maxi version, so it's got the ruffle at the bottom, and then it's the add-on pack, so it's got these gorgeous buttons all the way down the back. I have found that doing the add-on button back detail gives a bit more room around here. I found with the original indigo, if I made the size that I should be, which is a size 3, sometimes it can be a bit tight across here, but I found for some reason adding the button placket at the back just gives a bit more room around there, so it fits a bit better. So it's definitely my favourite version to make. And actually I need to try and make one without the ruffle on the bottom, so it's a bit more sort of, I guess it will finish just below my knee. So I need to try one of those. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing. This fabric was from Material Galore, and if you haven't seen already, she put an Instagram TV video up. Very sadly, Laura has decided to stop selling fabric and close Material Galore for all the right reasons. So if you haven't seen her video, do go and watch it. I'm very sad that she's made that decision, but it sounds like it's the right decision for her and her family. And I'm really glad that I managed to get lots of fabric from Laura before she made that decision. Okay, so like I said, today is going to be a pattern review, and it's been a long time coming. When I shared this make in one of my makes videos, I'll link it down below, I can't remember which one it was, I said that I'd do a full pattern review, and for whatever reason I just haven't got around to doing it. So today I am finally getting around to doing the pattern review, and the pattern that I'm going to be reviewing is by the Pattern Preacher. Now they're a relatively new pattern company, and the pattern that I chose to do is the Gabbie dress, and I'll talk about that in a second. I first heard about them when I saw the lovely Adelle from Button and Pip. She made their, I think it's their Olivia dress. Yes, she made their Olivia dress, and she shared it, and then they shared it over on Instagram around Christmas time. Then the Pattern Preacher got in touch with me and asked if I would like to try one of their patterns. No obligation to share, no obligation to do a video or pattern review or anything, just would I like to try one. So I said yes. I really like their style. There's some beautiful dresses on there. I've got their website in front of me, but I'll also put some video footage of me scrolling their website. I'll do a screen recording. So they've got a couple of patterns. I think they've got a couple of dress patterns. I think there's a trouser pattern, and I think there might be a jacket pattern. So they have got 4 dress patterns, which includes a pinafore. They've also got a blazer, and they've got some trousers. And Adelle made the Olivia dress, which is sort of quite a summery, breezy, floaty dress with these really lovely floaty sleeves. I'll put a picture in so you can see what that pattern looks like. Adventurous beginner. So at first I thought, oh, maybe I'll give that dress a try. But I have tried so many dresses in that style that I thought, actually, this is an opportunity to push myself out of my comfort zone. So I decided to push myself out of my comfort zone and go with a pattern that isn't something that I would usually sew. So I chose the Gabbie dress, and it's described as an adventurous beginner. Now I would agree that it's an adventurous beginner because the bit around here can be a little bit fiddly, and you just have to be really careful to make sure that that lies flat. So I would definitely agree that it's for an adventurous beginner. The reason I chose this, one, is to push myself out of my comfort zone. Two, I haven't sewn anything that's off the shoulder. And three, I just really liked the style. So these are the line drawings. So it comes in here, it's quite fitted around the waist, and then it's got this lovely skirt. Oh, and it's also got these lovely pleat details. I don't know if you can see, you can probably see it better on here. It's got some really lovely pleating along the skirt. So when I got the pattern, so it was sent to me free, I didn't have to buy it, so thank you to the pattern preacher for that, but it was up to me, like I said, which pattern I wanted to go for, and I chose this one. So like I said, I'll put images in of me scrolling their website so you can see what it looks like, but it's quite straightforward. When you first go to their website, I've got it on my phone as well, just so I can make sure that I'm accurate in what I'm saying. You get, the first page that comes up is their patterns, and like I've already said, they've got the 4 dresses. So the Isabella dress, I'll put images in of what the dresses that I'm talking about and all the different garments that I'm talking about. The Isabella dress, the Olivia dress, the Gabbie dress, which I'm going to review, the Grace pinafore, and then they've got the Eloise jacket, and then they've got the Sienna palazzo trousers. Then there's also some pattern bundles. So they've got the Adventurous Beginners Sewing Pattern Bundle, and then they've got the Beginners Sewing Pattern Bundle. And then Sienna bundle, blue and white striped blue linen. I think you can click on and there's like all the stuff that you would need to make the garment. Get all the fabric and notions needed to make the trousers, which is handy. So you get 3 meters of fabric, matching fusing, Gutterman thread, and then the concealed zip. So you could get the pattern, so you'd have to buy the pattern separately, and then you can get everything that you need to make the pattern up. So everything you need to make the palazzos, and they do that for all of their patterns. So on to the dress and why I chose it. So I chose the Gabbie dress. Like I said, I was tempted by the other dresses that they've got on there, but I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone and choose something that is different to what I normally would go for. Now this is an off the shoulder dress. You can see here it's off the shoulder, which is something that I don't normally sew. I do like to wear a bra when I'm wearing my clothes. I like to feel supported. So for this one, I would have to wear a strapless bra. Now I don't tend to enjoy wearing strapless bras because I don't feel like they give me as much support around here as I would like from a regular bra. But I thought I'd give it a go. And actually I have got quite a decent strapless bra, so wearing it with this dress, it was fine and it felt quite comfortable. This pattern comes in sizes UK 6 all the way up to UK 20, which is EU 34 to EU 48, and US 2 up to a US 16. So I would say not a huge size range. Maybe that's down to them being quite a new company, so hopefully in the future they will expand their size range. So in terms of your measurements, a UK 6 is a bust 33.9 inches, and then a UK 20 up to 47.6 inch bust. Waist 26.4 inches for a UK 6 and 38.6 inch for a UK 20. And then hips 49.6 inches for a UK 6 up to a 61.8 inch hip measurement. On the back of the pattern, which I quite like because you can see this before you actually buy it, is it suggests the fabric length requirements. So based on my measurements, I'm a bust 34, waist 28, hips 34. My measurements put me in a UK 8. So that would be a bust 35.8, because I do quite like having a bit of ease around here. I've talked about this before, but I'm sure I'm not the only person, but my bust fluctuates throughout the month, so I do quite like having a bit of ease around this area. So that put me in a UK 8, and I have to say, once I've made it up, it does fit me really nicely. I've still got a bit of movement around here. It's important that my arms, I've got movement, and the arms don't feel tight at all. So I went with the right size option. It does recommend that it's an adventurous beginner pattern, and I would agree it is an adventurous beginner pattern. mainly because you've got to insert an invisible zip, and also this bit around here is a little bit fiddly because you attach a facing, and it is just a little bit fiddly because you want a really crisp finish around here. So I would say it's an adventurous beginner. When I got the pattern, it took me a while to decide what fabric to use. There's a huge range of fabric suggestions on the back of the packet, and I'll just read them to you now. Polyester crepe, cotton satin, polyviscose, crepe de chine, viscose rayon, satin, shantung, poplin and lightweight velvets. So quite a range of fabrics, and because it's got this pleat detail, I'll see if I can find better images. I mean, I don't know if you can see from the line drawings, but it's got this pleating along the waist and the skirt. Now, if you were to use a structured fabric, that would really pop. I don't know if you can see it on this, but there's two pleats here, and that would really pop in quite a structured fabric. I don't enjoy wearing quite structured fitted garments. I've talked before about my body shape changing. I've talked before about how I bloat throughout the day dependent on what I've eaten or what I'm getting up to. So it's really important for me that my clothes feel comfortable and that there is a bit of wiggle room for me. So I know from things that I've made up previously, I prefer drapey soft fabrics and fabrics that just feel soft against my skin. So I didn't want to make this dress using anything that was really fitted or anything that was quite structured. So I had a look in my fabric collection, and I had this beautiful, it looks a bit like animal print, viscose crepe from Material Girl Laura, with this lovely lilac background, and then it's got all these pops of yellow. Now I think they're actually flowers, but it does look a bit animal printy. But yeah, there's definitely flowers in there. So I chose this fabric because it's got a nice drape. It feels lovely and soft. It's got a tiny bit of stretch in it, tiny amount. So I knew that that would feel really comfortable, and I knew that if once I'd made it up, because it's quite fitted around the waist area, that once I'd made it up, I would still have that wiggle room. And I'm really pleased that I made it in that fabric. It's got a really lovely amount of drape, which is great. And the sleeves are really comfortable to wear in that fabric. I've told you what the pattern company are called. They're a company that are based in Leicester, so do go and check them out. I'll link all their details down below as well. It's an adventurous beginner, like I said. I've given you my measurements. It is a pattern that requires you to either wear a strapless bra or no bra at all. So in terms of how much fabric you need to make this pattern, for a UK 8, which is the size that I made, my fabric was a wide fabric, so I only needed 1.4 metres. I had 2 metres of fabric, and I did have fabric left over. If I was going to use a narrower fabric, so a 45 inch or I guess I was going to say or less, but 45 inch, I would need 2 metres of fabric. Going up to the UK 20, if you're going to use a 60 inch wide fabric, you need just over 2 metres, 2.05 metres. And then if you're going to use a 45 inch width fabric, then you would need 2.35 metres. So around about 2 metres for the Gabbie dress. So notions that you need to make the dress: you need a lightweight fusing, matching thread, concealed zip which is 50 centimetres, and then your sewing machine and just your regular basic tools. So it comes in this lovely packet like this. You get all of that information on the back and a little bit of information about Pattern Preacher at the bottom. And then inside you get the pattern pieces. Now they're on a really lovely thick paper, which I really like. I don't like tracing. I mean, I didn't trace this pattern, but I don't like tracing when it's that tissue paper, that really fine tissue paper. So it's great to know that this is actually on that really thick white paper, which is great. It was quite easy to see the different lines that I needed to cut along, so that was quite straightforward. Then you get this colour booklet. So it's got the pattern logo for the company, it's got what the dress looks like and what it's called, and then on the back you've got a link to their website and their Instagram and social media, and then you've got all the different patterns that they've got. So this is the one that I was making up, and I really love it in that blue fabric. I'm not quite sure what fabric they've made it up in. And then you get the booklet, so it's colour printed, which is lovely. A bit of information about the Pattern Preacher, basic tips for sewing and cutting the fabric, and the fabric and then the fabric preparation, and then some extra information. There's a step-by-step tutorial for the project over on their website, which is great. Then there's a glossary of sewing and dressmaking terms and just some information about that. And then French seams, so some information on how to do French seams. And also a box pleat, because that's how you'd get the pleat detail on the skirt. And that is on the front and the back of the dress, the box pleats. And then again, it tells you about what you need, supplies needed, so your fabric, interfacing, concealed zip, sewing thread, and all the different all the different sewing tools that you would need, and again, line drawings. And then it also has the finished garment in centimetres and the finished garment in inches, just so that you know whether you're going to go with the correct size or not, and how much ease you like to have in your garment when it's finished. And we've got the lay plans on the back, 45-inch width at the top and 60-inch width fabric at the bottom. And then we are on to some preparation, so things that you need to do before you can start sewing, which is great. And again, we've got these printed colour images to guide you through the process onto the next page. So to make this dress, there's 4 pages of instructions with some colour photographs to help you along the way. I found it quite a straightforward process. I found it quite easy to follow the instructions. One thing I will say about the booklet is it can be quite overwhelming at times, because they've crammed so much information. I mean, you can see there's so much information and photographs onto one page, and then you turn over onto the next page and you've got like steps 7 to 14 here with colour photographs, and then steps 15 to 26 here. So there is a lot of information crammed into that booklet. It's great that they've got the colour photographs to help you along the way, but that can seem quite overwhelming if you're quite new to sewing. I like to break my sewing down into steps, and quite often I like do a page and then I'll have a break and then do a page, but this is so busy on all of the pages, it can seem, especially that section, can seem quite overwhelming. It was quite straightforward to put together. The only fiddly bit that I found was attaching the facing along the neckline. Yes, I'm just having a quick flick through again. So there's darts on the front and back bodice pieces. Just make sure that you give them a really good press, and then you've got really neat darts. And then you've got, so you construct the bodice first. So you can see here, you construct the bodice and the sleeves, and it can feel a bit strange. I remember putting the sleeves in and thinking this is really strange, because the way that you insert the sleeves, you have, so this is the sleeve here, you've got this raw edge until you add the facing. The top part of your sleeve is raw because obviously it's strapless, so it goes along with. So in terms of sewing this together, I think it probably took me a couple of hours, probably 3-ish hours. I don't time myself when I'm sewing. People ask me how long does it take me to sew certain. I time myself when I'm sewing, because I sew in the evenings when my children are asleep, and I'll sew in chunks. Quite often I can get lost in a project and I'll sew for hours and hours and hours, and then sometimes I'll feel too tired, so I end up just doing 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and then it adds up. I don't remember it taking me a very, very long time to sew this up, so I think probably about 3 hours if I was to guess. So quite a straightforward construction really. You sew the darts in first, give them a really good press, that's in the front and back bodice pieces, and then you attach them by the side seams, and then you insert the sleeves. And I remember that being a bit of a funny one, because the sleeve head, so here's the sleeve, this is the shoulder, so this is the bit that goes here, and I remember that is raw, that edge, until you attach the facing, because the facing goes all the way around the front neckline, along the shoulders, and then onto the back. That's a big long sort of strip of facing. So I remember putting the sleeve, because it is a dress that doesn't have any straps, so it's not going to sit on your shoulder. It sits, like I've just shown you, it sits here. That part of the sleeve is raw until you put the facing on. That is the bit that wasn't fiddly, but I really took my time because I wanted to make sure that it lay flat. I didn't want the facing to keep popping up. So once you've put the sleeves in, you attach the facing, and then you've got the pleats to do for the skirt, front and the skirt back. I don't know if you can see that. And then you insert the invisible zip, which I was quite pleased with, and then obviously you hem the dress. So in terms of construction, it was quite straightforward. It was quite an enjoyable sew. Like I've already said, I just found the booklet a little bit too busy for my liking. Some people might like that. I really like that there's colour photos to help you every step of the way. The instructions are written really well. They guide you through each process, which is great. And I really like when patterns give you everything that you need to do before you get sewing. So let me go back to that page, prep. So you know which bits you need to interface. Some pattern companies like the Avid Seamstress, they tell you like all the darts and things that you need to do before you get sewing, so that when you get onto your machine you can just concentrate on sewing. You don't then have to stop, start whilst you do darts or press them or whatever it is that you need to do. So I really like that aspect of being told what you need to do before you can start sewing, so that you can just get on and really enjoy making it. It's a really comfortable dress to wear. It fits nicely. Like I said, the construction came together really well. I took my time with the invisible zip, because what you also want to make sure you do with this back part is you'd want to make sure that this lines up with your skirt, and I'm quite pleased that it did. Where is it? The fabric's so busy you can't see. So yeah, my zip here and my skirt all match up beautifully. So there were a few steps which I would say just take your time with. One being the facing, so attaching the facing, because you want it to fit really nicely and sit nicely on there. Take your time with your pleats, because they are a really beautiful detail, and you want to make sure that part of the dress feature really sings, and it's the same on the back. And just take your time with making sure that everything matches up when you're inserting your zip. Overall, I'm really pleased with it. So I chose a viscose crepe. It's got a lovely amount of movement. The sleeves go, they're sort of 3/4, they stop about here. I'm going to stop the video now and I'm going to go and put it on just so that you can see what it looks like and how it moves. Okay, so I've put the dress on and I'm going to stand up. You probably won't be able to get my head in shot, but you'll be able to see what the dress looks like on me, and I'll do a twirl so you can see how it moves. So you can see it is very off the shoulder, and it sits quite nicely along here. And then I'll stand up, you can see the lovely pleats here, and then I've got the same detail in the back, and I'm just going to move back, and then you can also see the length of the sleeves on me too, and it sits just above my knee. It's got a lovely amount of drape to it, it's really lovely. And then the same for the back. Just do a little twirl so you can see. It's really comfortable to wear. This is my natural waist, and there is still quite a lot of movement around that area. It's quite fitted at the back. There's not as much wiggle room around the back, but there still is movement. It's comfortable to sit down in as much as it is to stand up and sort of move around, which is lovely. I haven't worn this, if I'm being perfectly honest. Since I made it, I haven't worn it, but I think that's more because we've been in lockdown and I haven't had anywhere to go. I did just joke to my husband before filming this video that he needs to take me somewhere so that I can wear it, because I do feel like this style of dress is, I guess, more going outy, something that you might wear to a wedding, or if you've got a birthday party to go to. It's not something that I would chuck on and spend the day with the kids. So I definitely need an occasion to wear it, but it is a beautiful dress. I'm really pleased with the way that it's finished. So yeah, I just need somewhere to wear it now. I would make another one of these, especially if I've got an occasion to go to. I'd quite like to try it in a more structured fabric. Not structured as in it's going to be like restrictive, but a fabric that has maybe got a little less drape. So maybe a poplin. I've got a few poplins in my stash that I could try it with, just to see what the effect is using a different type of fabric. I really like the Pattern Preacher. I think they've got a lovely range of patterns, and I'm quite keen to try their palazzo style trousers as well. So if you've got any questions about the Gabbie dress, just pop them in the comments box down below, and I'll do my best to try and answer them for you. It was a really enjoyable sew. The only thing that well, there's two things that I've talked about. One, the booklet is quite busy for the instructions. that can be quite overwhelming if you're fairly new to sewing. And the second one is their size range, because I think they're quite a narrow size range, so from a UK 6 to a UK 20, but hopefully they'll start to increase their sizes. But overall, I really enjoyed sewing it up. It is a pattern that I've enjoyed making, and once I've got somewhere nice to wear this dress to, it will get its first proper outing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that pattern review. Like I said, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments box down below and I'll try and answer them for you. My next vlog, I'm going to be sharing how I made this beautiful dress. If you've watched my previous vlogs, you'll know that my daughter's got a dress, a broderie anglaise dress that I wanted to try and copy, and I've managed to do that, so I'm going to be sharing how I did that. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you'll be notified when I bring out my next video. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.